And now it's my honor to introduce the man who started it all in 1993. Dr. Walter Urba was recruited from the National Cancer Institute to come to Providence and build a research program focused on immunotherapy. Here's a photo from him back in the early days. Now I'd say Throwback Thursday, so it's Wednesday, so we'll say way back Wednesday. And at that time, the idea of harnessing the body's own immune system to detect and fight cancer was met with incredible skepticism. Dr. Urba was not deterred. He knew that the power to finish cancer resided within our own bodies, and so he pressed on. With the support of Providence, generous philanthropists, and industry partners, Dr. Urba has built a research institute that is known worldwide for its innovation, collaborative environment, and success. Dr. Urba was a senior author and principal investigator on the international trial that led to the first immunotherapy drug in the world to be approved for patients with melanoma. This breakthrough was key to cancer immunotherapy being named Science Journal's Breakthrough of the Year for 2013. Now, today, immunotherapy is a major component of every cancer center in the U.S. Discoveries made at Providence have led to the formation of 2 biotech companies and many partnerships with leading medical research and industry institutions across the globe. Under the leadership of Dr. Urba, Providence researchers have initiated numerous first-in-human trials, and the list goes on. Now, needless to say, this is an incredible team led by an incredible scientist. And here to tell us a bit about today's exciting projects, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Walter Urba.
Thank you. Thank you. I haven't seen that picture in a long time. I guess if I look at it, I would say, would you give that guy money to do research? I hope. I know I look a little different today for a variety of little gray hair, a lot of gray hair. I wasn't prepared for the questions tonight. I thought everybody would be interested in what was our newest research and what was the most important work we were working on. And I felt like I should have come with a sign that says, rotator cuff, rotator cuff. A couple weeks after surgery, healing fine. This is a pain in the neck. It has some uses as places to hide the phone, hide your speech. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank Julie and Scott for traveling as far as they did to be with us tonight, and Steve and Cindy for making it possible for them to be with us. I did have a question for Scott. Yes, thank you. I had a question for Scott, and that is that I heard my name might be in the book, and I wanted to know that I would be able to share it with my family and that it was appropriate for fathers and children. So you could tell me that after. The arm is not the only thing that's not working right tonight, so I'm going to take off my glasses, and now you'll understand why our focus is on young researchers, bringing in new talent, people for whom all their parts work, right? So help us do that. We need your help. So you've heard tonight that Providence is a global leader in immunotherapy. Most people don't know that, but it really is true. Today we have an incredible team of over 100 researchers led by our brilliant scientists and physicians who are dedicated to finish cancer by using the patient's own immune system. This is what we call immunotherapy. When Dr. Fox and I arrived in 1993, we looked like we did in that picture. At that time, we shared darker hair and a common vision of the potential value of immune-based therapy for patients with cancer. When we began, we were one of only a handful of centers in the entire country that focused on immunotherapy. Over the years, we and others became very, very proficient at curing cancer in mice. Lots of experiments, strategies work well in mice, but translating those same findings to patients didn't achieve the same results. Actually, the results were very disappointing because, unlike Julie, most of the patients did not benefit. The field was struggling and suffering from a real lack of support. I remember being on an NIH grant study section where they decide who to hand out money to do research. And there was a scientist who would not even consider funding a grant for immunotherapy because in his words, immunotherapy has never worked and it never will, so why should we waste our money on that research? Needless to say, not many immunotherapy grants were being funded at that time. However, for some reason, Bernie and I and others on our team remained undaunted, and thanks to the generosity of Portland's philanthropic community, like the people in this room, we were able to grow our research program and recruit talented investigators like Drs. Andy Weinberg and Brendan Curdy, who are here tonight. The pessimism regarding immunotherapy ended in 2011 when the first immunotherapy, a drug called ipilimumab, alluded to by Helen in her remarks, was approved by the FDA. Fast forward 2 years, and immunotherapy was all of a sudden the breakthrough of the year. We're proud that Providence led that paradigm-changing clinical trial that showed improved survival, and now 6 years later, it showed that some of these patients are now cured of their previously uniformly fatal skin cancer called metastatic melanoma. Thank you. Since then, multiple new immunotherapy drugs, including the one that our star tonight, Julie Randall, received, have been approved. And they've been approved for not only patients with melanoma, but patients with lung cancer and head and neck cancer, just to name a few. You've probably watched TV commercials touting the benefits of immunotherapy for patients with lung cancer. We are proud of our role in the development of many of these agents in partnership with our pharmaceutical industry colleagues, some of whom are here tonight in support of our work. So much for the prediction that immunotherapy will never work. I'd like to see that guy again, you know? If you read the Wall Street Journal with your morning coffee, you would have seen today that one of these immunotherapy drugs was being approved to treat patients whose tumors had defects in their ability to repair damage to their DNA. The accumulation of the mutations, because their repair mechanism is broken, makes them more susceptible to the beneficial effects of immunotherapy. And this marks the first time ever that the FDA has approved a drug based solely on a genetic marker and not because of the tumor's original location, like breast or prostate. And we at Providence also had a hand in this approval, which is in part based on a study in which our own Todd Crescenzi, who's sitting right here at one of the first tables, was one of the key contributors. So we're very proud of that as well. And today's approval highlights the importance of understanding the possible connection between our immune system and the tumor's genetic makeup, something I hope you had a chance to learn if you walked by the poster downstairs with Drs. Carla Bafulco and Eric Tran in the laboratory earlier tonight. Of course, beyond these collaborations, we've had our own research initiatives, most notably our OX40 program. Originally discovered in the laboratory of Dr. Andrew Weinberg, OX40's clinical potential became apparent when Dr. Curdy performed a philanthropy-supported, quite a novel concept, a philanthropy-supported clinical trial that showed tumor shrinkage and beneficial immune effects in patients with a variety of different kinds of cancer. This led to Dr. Weinberg starting his biotechnology company called Agonox, and eventually the OX40 technology was licensed to AstraZeneca. And OX40 therapy continues to be a major focus of the work that's going on in our research center right now, both preclinical and clinical work. And it's one of the major agents in the pipeline for AstraZeneca, one of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies. And they, being AstraZeneca, and other companies, which are also investigating and testing OX40, are currently testing OX40 in thousands of patients around the world. Quite an impact for a 14 or 15 patient study started here in Portland 10 years ago. Since our humble beginning, we really have become a global leader in immunotherapy. I want to thank you all for your part in helping make this happen. I'm very proud of the team that we've been able to build over the years with your help, and I could not ask to work with a better group of human beings. To maintain our global presence, we must continue to be able to recruit the best and the brightest. Tonight, I'm very proud to introduce the newest member of our team, Dr. Eric Tran. Eric came to us from the surgery branch of the National Cancer Institute, where he worked on a personalized immunotherapy program where he essentially made a specific drug for an individual patient just for their cancer. Eric could have gone just about anywhere he wanted for his first independent job as a scientist, and we are honored and proud that he chose to work with us at Providence. He and the younger members of our team comprise a remarkable group that will lead us into the future. Now, so you can learn more about our research team and Eric's research plans, I'm pleased to reintroduce our MC, Helen Raptis, and Dr. Bernie Fox, Harder Family Chair for Cancer Research and Chief of the Laboratory of Molecular and Tumor Immunology, and Dr. Eric Tran, Director of the Anti-Tumor T-Cell Response Laboratory, the oldest, except for me, and the youngest members of our research team. Helen, thank you.
I should say welcome to Portland Tonight, sponsored by Providence. So we'll start with both of you doctors. Tell me, what brought you to Providence, and what were you hoping to do?
So it was about 23 years ago that Dr. Urba called me, and I heard about his vision for developing a cancer immunotherapy program in Portland, Oregon. It was really amazing, besides the fact that here's somebody else that believed in the power of immunotherapy before it was popular, that there was the support of the Sisters of Providence to help fund that. And that, back in 1993, was a real problem because the NIH budgets were so low.
Dr. Tran?
Yeah, so I haven't been here quite as long as Bernie. So I've been here since January of this year. And a fact that I think many people don't know is that Bernie and I actually trained with the same individual at the National Cancer Institute at the NIH. His name is Dr. Steve Rosenberg, and he's a pioneer and a leader in the field of cancer immunotherapy. And I think one of the many lessons that we learned there was that we learned how to do translational research. And so translational research is really the type of research that takes findings from the lab and takes it to the bedside so that we can treat patients. And so it takes really a village to, I think, perform translational research correctly, and Providence has all those pieces in place. And so we've got enthusiastic and talented clinicians, scientists, administration staff, clinical trials team, students, you name it, Providence has it. And they focus predominantly on immunotherapy, but different aspects of immunotherapy. And so I felt that I have a unique set of expertise that I could help bring here and synergize with the rest of the folk here at Providence.
Dr. Fox, tell me more about your focus.
So my lab is focused in several areas, but I'll just talk on two really quickly. One is on this idea of characterizing patients' tumors. And what we found is that if patients' tumors have if you have a biopsy from a patient, there's lots of cancer killer cells in that tumor biopsy, using technology that many of you might have seen down at the posters tonight. If you've got lots of those cancer killer cells, you're going to do very well with several of the cancers we've looked at. And as Walter mentioned, I'm the Harder Family Chair, and that gives you more freedom and flexibility to do things. So we've taken more of a global role. So we've taken, and I've been involved in a global study where we've looked at now 3,000 patients from 13 countries, from Asia through North America to Europe, and just reported last year on how powerful that was. Because if patients with colon cancer had lots of cancer killer cells, they did very well. And if they had very few, they didn't do well. Which brings us now to what the second focus of the lab is. The second focus of the lab is to try to figure out how to turn on those cancer killer cells in the patients that don't have them. And so my colleague, Dr. Hongming Hu, who is also here tonight, developed some technology that actually is a vaccine technology that helps educate cancer killer cells and helps us turn them on in animals. And we've now completed a study with Dr. Rachel Sanborn, who's here tonight, who led the lung cancer study, which was done in a phase 2 study in patients with lung cancer, and we showed that we could turn on the immune system in those lung cancer patients. So now we've got studies about to start, hopefully in breast and prostate, that will actually be pushed forward to combine that vaccine with OX40, which is one of the technologies that you heard about, again, that Dr. Weinberg's lab developed, to put those two together and get synergy there. So that's what my lab's doing.
Dr. Tran, talk to me about the importance of philanthropy and how it helps you in your research, its impact.
Sure, I mean, it's essential. So the type of therapy that I do is actually quite complex and expensive, and unfortunately science is a very expensive thing. So without it, I don't think I would be here. The type of therapy I do is a highly personalized type of therapy. So as Dr. Fox mentioned, at the heart of any successful immunotherapy are these T cells. And so the type of research that I do focuses on these T cells that recognize tumors specifically. And so what we plan to do is to isolate these T cells that specifically recognize the tumor, take them back to the lab, expand them to billions and billions of T cells, and then infuse them back to the patients with the hope that a large army of these tumor-reactive T cells can now eradicate the tumor.
Dr. Tran is kind of a superhero in your department, isn't he?
He is. So again, I think Walter mentioned this, but this guy could have gone anywhere in the world, really. He trained at the best lab, and of course I've got a conflict of interest, but it's the best lab on the planet for tumor immunology, and has been doing this field for more than 40 years, right? So I've been doing it for almost 40 years. So Walter's been doing it for more, but you know, it's that long, right? So he could have gone anywhere, but he came here. And I think it's a testament to the philanthropy that's here, because it makes up a huge difference in the life of a scientist. If you're going to spend months writing grants to get turned down and have to wait 2 years to get funding, when you can start an idea, a dream, a vision you have to treat patients tomorrow or next week or next month because of philanthropy and the power, that's what led to Ox40. That's what led to the other things that we're doing. And that's why there are first-in-human studies here going on in Portland. So it's because of all of you. So thank you very much.
Dr. Tran, what inspires you? What gets you out of bed in the morning? Makes you go to that research lab with all those little tubes of yours?
Sure. I think I draw a lot of my inspirations from, kind people, good people, my family and friends, and obviously the patients. That's what inspires me, but what drives me is the eradication of cancer. I've seen it firsthand, what it can do to people and the people they care for. So that's what drives me, the eradication of cancer.
And Dr. Fox, what drives you?
I mean, it's pretty much the same. I mean, it's the patients, right? I was at a retirement party for an attorney from some firm in town last night, and 2 women came up to me with metastatic breast cancer. And what motivates you is the fact that we have the knowledge today to make a huge difference in the lives of patients with cancer. We understand so much more than we did a few years ago. And everybody in the planet can see this. It's on the cover of every magazine, every journal, everything, right? People are being cured of cancer. But it's still a minority. We can make it a majority. We can change the whole face of how cancer is treated. I teach first-year medical students at OHSU, and I've been teaching them for 6 years. The only thing that makes a difference in the life of a patient with metastatic cancer is their immune system. And that is true. That is true. So for all the people that get chemotherapy, someday you will never get chemotherapy. Maybe you'll get radiation therapy from my radiation therapy colleagues. But it's going to be that way. So I just tell you that the knowledge that we know so much more than we did a few years ago, that we can really make a difference, is really what motivates me. And I don't know how much time I got left, but I hope I have a lot of time to see this, because it's just so darn exciting to see people. See people like Eric here, right? You're in Portland, Oregon. Can you believe that he's in Portland, Oregon? I mean, it's unbelievable, right? This is what's so great about the community. He wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So thank you very, very much. And for all my colleagues, because Will Redmond, who's sitting over here, and Michael Goff, and Mark Crittenden, and all the others that are here, they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And we have a team that's unbelievable. And I'll put them up against any place on the planet for pound what we offer to people here. And you've benefited from all these first-in-human studies before they were FDA approved. People were getting it because of Walter and Brendan and Todd, and you just go through the list. We've got trials going on here that you couldn't have gotten almost any place west of the Mississippi because of the BMS Ion Network. And that's not false. That's not false news or fake news or anything. That's real news. So just telling you. So thank you very much. I've gone over time. Cut me off.
A big round of applause for Dr. Tran and Dr. Fox.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much. And thank you for creating hope. It's awesome.
Thank you.